really think you should.
What is up, my crew? This is CLC with, shockingly, a Pokemon ROM hacking video. Now, this isn't going to be me bashing people who deserve it, or me crapping on a ROM hack. No. Today, I would like to discuss a topic that I've been looking over for the past week or two, and it's been going through my mind for a very long time. Now, I think probably more than 2 weeks. And it's not really a topic, but more of a question. If you checked out my Poke community thread for Pokemon Theta Emerald EX, or my Facebook page, which you should totally like while you're there, I made a post asking a question with 2 possible answers. There was no right or wrong answer, just answer how you feel, which would be the best. The question is, and I quote, what would you prefer in a ROM hack? A ROM hack with about 800 Pokemon with forms and every single generation, but with one region, or ROM hack with Gen 1 to 3 with cross-gen added, because why not, and every battle mechanic and little things updated to the current gen, but it has a second region like Kanto, Johto, etc. I looked through all the votes of over 100 people who answered the poll on both the thread and my Facebook page, and the results are in, and they are that about 60% of people preferred more Pokemon over more regions. Why am I not surprised? But I saw a comment that interested me, and it was the first one I saw in the post, saying, and I quote, I'll do my best to explain it in the best way possible instead. The first option is nice, having all Pokemon, including forms, but we know how hard it is that all the abilities, attacks, form changes, etc. The second choice is nice too, more maps to explore, more side quests, hidden items, Pokemon, etc. So LC, what is your opinion? You're the master. First of all, thank you for calling me a master. I am not really. And second, do you really want my opinion? I mean, I guess that would be cool. How about, we look through it, logically, instead of just saying, oh, we want this or that. How would we look at it through a logical standpoint and see which one, in my opinion, would be the best option? So let's begin with the winner of this question, more Pokemon. Why do people prefer more Pokemon over more regions? One of the biggest reasons why people would prefer more Pokemon is, well, the variety. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let's think about it. Let's just account just from Gen 1 to Gen 6. Now, we're not accounting any bigger details. We're only counting the only 721 Pokemon alone. And this is without any forms. Just by calculating which Pokemon you want to use on a team, whether it be 1 or 2 or 3, there are almost 200 trillion different possible team combinations. Like I just said, that is just a Pokemon without its forms, without calculating hidden items like, the Life Orb and Choice Scarf, and this is also not including different movesets, abilities, natures, EVs, IVs, etc. This kind of team building that you want to do, whether it be just for fun or for competitive play for stuff like the Battle Frontier or just with friends, is very diverse. That's just incredible. That's really, the main depth of Pokemon is making your own team, like I said, for the fun of it or just, competitively. And that is what I mean by variety. With that out of the way, let's look at why people will want a second region or multiple regions over more Pokemon. Why do people prefer a second or multiple regions over more Pokemon? Just so you know, if I were to ever to conclude another region, I would not only, have Gen 1 to 3, but I would also include cross-gen evolutions like Magmortar and Licky Licky, forms like Deoxys form changes, Alolan Exeggutor, and Mega Evolution / Primal version. That, and I'll probably update the battle engine to be as current as possible, and probably add some more items and little doodads here and there. The big reason why people would prefer to go to another region and not just be secluded to one region would probably be because going through the same region over and over and over again would get kind of boring. But including another whole region with different places to explore, different towns, new gyms, possibly more Pokemon to find, that actually would be really good. That, and it'd be easier to, place well Pokemon events, give Pokemon events, new items, legendaries, is some more to do it. It also would be really easy to spread out any wild Pokemon because it would make it so that maybe a Pokemon that is very rare to find in one area would probably be easier to find in another. Now, what are the negatives of each? Obviously, if you had a bunch more Pokemon, it's going to be way more to catch, and it's just going to be really annoying. But you know what? It's Pokemon. Who cares? Like I said, I feel like that argument is counter-argumented, I think that's a word, by what I just said about the variety and trying out new Pokemon. If you don't like one, you don't have to battle with it. Just use it for text. But there's also one that, more regions or more Pokemon share. And that is space limitations. What do I mean by that? You have to understand that when you're making a ROM hack, you have to understand that a ROM hack, you can't add everything that you want to a certain degree. You can't, do things that, like, you can't add a 3D model. I don't know if it's possible with, GBA games. I think it might be. I'm not too sure, but I feel like it would take up a lot of space, and that would not be very productive in terms of Pokemon. You could make it, but it won't be real. And that sort of, goes into ROM hacking. You can't add too many things. You always got to understand some things have to be left out. And, one good thing is you understand that some expansions like Pokemon expansion, item expansion, the battle engine upgrade, they could take up free space. And they could take up a lot of free space depending on how much they've been worked on. And believe me, those expansions made by a really awesome ROM hacker, they take up a lot of space. And they're being improved on every single day. So it's bound to, take up way more space than you thought it would be only a little bit. You see, the only real thing that you gotta understand in terms of space limitations with both of them is that one technically doesn't have that much of a limitation than the other. Yes, they do take up a lot of space, but one uses space that the others can't. You see, like I said, Pokemon expansion, item expansion, and the battle engine, upgrade, revert right, basically, they can use free space beyond what is given to you. What do I mean by that? Within a regular Emerald ROM, you have 16 megabytes to work with. In a hex editor, if you were to calculate how much space is within a Emerald ROM, or just how much is used, well, not used, but in the game itself, that is about 16,777,216 bytes. And that's a lot. But most of it is used for the game, obviously. So you're kind of limited for both scenarios, for Pokemon or another region. However, if you know what you're doing, and it's actually very simple, you can double that amount for more room within your game, making it 32 megabytes instead of 16. So now, instead of having, 16 million, you now have 33,554,432 bytes free. And that's basically, like having two Pokemon Emeralds for the price of one. One with an actual game, though. The other one is literally a whole other, a ton of space for you to work with. And with the right tools, that empty shell could be used to create your very own ROM hack. That's what I use for multiple Theta Emerald games I've created, and I think a lot of games nowadays try and utilize this space as well. And you're probably thinking that, oh, since you can do that with more Pokemon, that's awesome. We can do that with maps and create a whole new region, right? You see, the only real tool that can help you edit maps or create new ones is Advanced Map V1.29. I think I talked about this in a different video, but I don't mind saying it again. Advanced Map, back in the day, was the best mapping tool back then. In fact, I think people nowadays still kind of use it, and I think they kind of stuck with it. So, why don't people and myself use it to create a new region? And you know what? It could. However, there's one catch. Let's go back to what I said before. Remember how I told you that you can use a pretty much empty, cartridge of Pokemon Emerald to, go and shove and create your own, game and edit it the way you want. Well, the problem with this is that Advanced Map V 1.92 doesn't recognize any values beyond the original 16 megabytes of space. So you're very limited when making a second region. Advanced Map is, a pretty old tool. I think it came out in, 2008. Wow, almost 10 years. God, I feel old. So, here's the thing. If this program refuses to read the expanded space, why hasn't someone released a better mapping program or someone edit this program? Actually, the thing is that there is one map program out there that could potentially read expanded space. Advanced Map V 1.95, which came out in, I think, about 2011. And you probably think, that's a good thing, we can use that. I wouldn't recommend it. In fact, this program is unfinished. It's an open beta, meaning that it has bugs, and it could potentially ruin any progress that you have on your own game. That or your game could potentially speak Italian. I have no clue, to be honest. So here's the thing. With all this being said, is there any map programs being worked on right now as we speak, or, are going to be worked on in the future? Well, actually, yeah, there are. I think, and don't quote me on this, but I think there are 3 different programs being worked on. And I believe they're open source as well, meaning that if you want to get your hands dirty with programming or just try and, do it yourself, go ahead. I'll try and post links to them in the description, but I don't know where you can find them. I'm not even too sure if they're being worked on, because the truth is mapping programs are very, very, how do I put this? Very in-depth and very specific with these kinds of games. I would try and help out, but having, 3 jobs is kind of difficult to get the time to do. Gotta get that money, right? If only ROM hacking could pay the bills. Though making videos on, data emerald progress, Pokemon Go, rants, etc., they don't do as well either. Hashtag and the apocalypse. So, what is the verdict? What would I prefer? Short and sweet, more Pokemon. Yeah, making a game with more Pokemon and pretty much the same story as ignoring. However, you could make the game interesting. How about a mono-type team run? With the more Pokemon readily available, well, as available as possible, you could make different monotype teams alone and make different ones per play. That, or do a run by just playing as one Pokemon. I've seen it done. The way you play the ROM hack determines if it'll be fun or not. Yes, I understand that people would prefer a second region to play through as well, but for right now, with the application limitations and no real open source material to look at, Advanced Map, and try our best to improve and or reuse its assets onto a new platform of ROM hacking, it won't happen yet. But don't worry, gang. We also thought that adding Pokemon without replacing was impossible too. And look how, a game like Nameless Fire Red Project turned out. Were you expecting me to say like Theta Emerald or Theta Emerald EX? I guess, but I like to put over ROM hacks as well. Other ROM hacks speaking. Plus, one day there will be probably an Emerald ROM hack that's better than Theta Emerald EX. Probably not made by me, but it's okay. I'm just happy that you, my fellow subscribers, or any fellow people watching this video are happy with all, if not any, of my projects that I do. And with that, thank you. And with that is the end of this video. Be sure to like the video if you found any of this interesting. Be sure to comment on your opinion on whether ROM hack should have more Pokemon or another region, or multiple regions even. And be sure to subscribe for more videos coming up. I know I said I am doing projects other than ROM hacking or other videos, but I can still do them. It's no big deal. I actually thought about doing a video showcasing, form changes within the newest iteration of Theta Emerald EX. Should be neat, I think. I have no clue. Well, until next time, my fellow Olympians, I will see you later.